literate crowd with spare time on its hands, concerned about media, concerned about democracy. And it is democracy because the press is one of your fundamental supports. If you are not writing and protesting, do not expect that your journalists will fight your battle for you. Siddarth said, why do journalists expect the readers to fight their battle for them? I reverse the question. This is your battle. Because if you enjoy living in a democracy, if you enjoy freedom, you have to defend one of the institutions here. I stopped taking the Times of India and any of its products because I believe I have to vote with my wallet. I have to put my money out there and say, if child labor offends me, I won't buy something that uses child labor. And if paid news offends me, then I will not subscribe to a newspaper that uses paid news. I get stupid responses like, but I like the font. But I'm used to the look of the newspaper. You're used to this is like saying, my husband beats me, I'm used to the beating, so I live in this marriage. Have some self-respect. Give up this stupid newspaper if you believe that it is bad.
I think I'd like to say something else. I wrote about the Navin Times in the Times of London. I regularly write in foreign papers, certainly in the New York Times. And at this time I wrote in the Times of London, criticizing the Navin Times at the time of the Scarlet Affair. The editor had taken a certain position which I found unacceptable. Since that happened, every time I've written a paper or a comment to the Navin Times, my comments have never been published. Now, you get suffocated. Now, I didn't even tell them, you get suffocated.
I totally agree that
effectively, now the only way I can criticize the Navin Times is to write about them in the New York Times or to write in the Times of London.
It's long.
How many of you are aware that this Anna Hazare campaign, which the TV channels carried relentlessly for how many hours? 72 hours? Was a paid for thing? And we just swallowed the whole thing. There was this one channel, I will not name it.
Name it.
Lights now. Dirty fellows again.
Is that it? Thanks now.
Yeah.
Wait.
So if you can how do we know? For that statement.
But how do we know that? How do we know it?
Paid by the rival party, the other party,
Many countries have very strict laws about cross-media holdings, in the sense that if you own one newspaper, then you cannot own any other media, or you can hold maybe just one. In India, there's no such thing. You can own television station, radio station, anything possible, everything you can own. The second thing is this conflict of interest issue, which has now become the huge problem in India, which is if you are in politics or whatever it is, you cannot own a newspaper. Many countries have very clear, specific laws. In India, there's no such thing, which is why so many politicians are owning newspapers. But you can give us a better idea of...
this doesn't exist in, it's in America. You would be excoriated if you had a practice like this. I really think it happens in Italy with Berlusconi, exactly. But I think there's a lack of recognition that the news media are not like any other commercial enterprise. And in the West and even in America, the home of laissez-faire, there's a notion that the media is sacred, that they're an important part of democracy, and there are a whole lot of regulations put into place to safeguard that democracy. In our current climate where everything goes, everything is also for sale, including our democracy, various bits of it.
If you look at the newspapers, the majority of the newspapers in the US, there's nothing you can read but ads and ads and ads and ads. That's the majority I'm saying. I'm not saying your one-off newspaper which you would read for the news. But the majority of the newspapers which go to households or which people buy at the kiosk have no news. They only have ads, and very obviously ads, not even hidden ads. I look at that as really not the place where we should be going.
What I find more unfortunate is that what I find very unfortunate is that when the Times of India goes as a whole newspaper, most people pick up the Goa Times or the Bombay Times first. They don't just read the main paper. So I find it very, very disparaging. I find it very annoying because it is the most dumbing down of the newspaper aspect of the newspaper, and that's what is picked up and that's what is very popular with the people. So that reflects our society. I think we need to inculcate reading habit. We need to, we need to demand of this of the readers of the society that they have better reading habits, they pick up better reading habits, and then demand of us a better content. That's the only way we're going to improve, and it's very, very essential.
We need a more.
Is if at this point in time in our life cycle of newspapers, you were right, sir, we get 4 newspapers for 10 rupees. This means I think that we treat them all like garbage. We don't even, people say there is nothing to read in the newspapers, so I tried an experiment for 1 month, which is to find something to read in every newspaper that I got. And I did find stuff. But the point is that you have to say to yourself, I will treat this newspaper with respect, and I will look for something to read, and I will make that effort. Second, I think we need to also not look at a model of the West, not look at a model of this. We need to look at the model, each individual person needs to look at the model of how I am going to respond to the news. Am I going to receive it as a receptacle, or am I going to challenge inside my mind everything that I am being told? Am I going to research widely? Am I going to look for things? Am I going to follow up? Am I going to demand follow-up? If we participate in the making of our newspapers, we'll get a healthy press. If you sit down, yeah, that's it.
90% of our population, I would say 80% of our population is
99% kaho.
Yes, we're not talking about how many people are like you and who actually analyze.
I agree very much. I have just to add like this. See, biggest thing is we readers, I am talking about readers, as Jerry gets worked up. How many in families people get worked up about newspapers? How many families, we only think we are consumers. We don't think we are a citizen of constitutional rights and responsibilities. Then we have to debate. How many people we debate about which TV we want, which computer we want, which whatever fashion these clothes we want. We never discuss in our families about why this trash paper is coming here. Why not this alternative good paper comes in? We never discuss. That is the big problem. Why? Because it is 2 rupees, 1 rupee, 8 anna. If it was 50 rupees, we would have discussed why the hell you are bringing this paper, bring that paper. We would have done. So we are becoming too much consumerist and we are forgetting our rights.
Let's take a last question from the back.
This debate is very interesting. I'm glad you're all here and I'm listening to this. But the young media, the young audience today, and including not so young, including myself, a lot of people, honestly don't read newspapers anymore. I glance at newspapers, I get about 6 of them. I glance at them. Most of my news comes from online media, from Twitter, and from other such sources. I respond directly, excuse me, can I finish please? I respond directly to people who have written or said something which I do not agree with, or with their views. Sometimes they'll respond back to me, and my responses are picked up by others and responded. All of us in this room will find out in the next few years, newspapers will be going the way they go in the rest of the world. There will be one of many different ways of getting information. People, if they don't feel they're getting the right information, just like Jerry here said, they will stop using them as a tool to get information. They'll build the tools that they rely on.
What are you talking about? Newspapers are never going to die in India. 90% of the people in India still read newspapers and still
All right,
It is the most dumbing down of the newspaper aspect of the newspaper, and that's what is picked up and that's what is very popular with the people. So that reflects our society. I think we need to inculcate reading habit. We need to, we need to demand of this of the readers of the society that they have better reading habits, they pick up better reading habits, and then demand of us a better content. That's the only way we are able to improve, and it's very, very essential.